This is Campus News, reporting the top stories from colleges and universities.
Next on Campus News, see how MSCTC students face the flames to get first-hand experience.
The High Plains Powwow event celebrates American Indian culture at MSU.
A Concordia alum is bringing championship experience to the Cobber baseball team.
And one MSU Moorhead alum is teaching others to find their beat. Hello and welcome to Campus News. I'm Robert Swanson.
And I'm Laura Lee Lofsgaard. A recent breakdown in communication left MSU Moorhead students unaware of an armed robbery less than a block from campus.
On the night of March 28th, Moorhead police investigated a report an armed robbery and assault about 1 block south of MSUM's campus security building. Campus security wasn't notified until the next morning.
My common sense, I guess, plus the history of how things have gone here, if something serious takes place that's very close to campus and could bleed over onto campus, that we do a notification to let people know.
Lemke says he would have liked to have sent out an emergency notification that night.
Our sergeant who was on duty that night, I found out that he heard what was going on over the radio, but he didn't take the initiative to call the police and say, hey, what's going on? So it was kind of a failure of communication on both parts.
Lemke is confident that communication breakdowns like this won't happen in the future. MSCTC firefighting students are getting a first-hand experience on what they will inevitably have to face in the real world.
Campus News reporter Christy Larson has more on how these students will be thrown into the fire.
These students are getting set up to imitate a propane tank fire.
Today we're going to be setting those propane tanks on fire, and we're going to learn how to properly go to them and put it out and stop the propane leak.
Think of where propane's put on. It could be on campers, it can be on semi-trucks, anything that would carry propane.
The MSCTC fire program hasn't always been so popular or lucky with all the training the students get to be involved with.
It's kind of grown. I started off with like 6 students, and we were kind of working out of whatever empty classroom we could find in the building at night, and borrowing equipment and stealing whatever we could, and now it's actually turned into a full program.
But now students get to participate with using all 3 stations' training facilities and practice different emergency situations with them. The firefighters keep going back and forth, so each student will get a turn to be in the middle, which is the person who will turn off the propane tanks. And they continue to go back and forth to put it out.
This program is designed truly just for structural firefighting. The bare minimum requirements to get them hired right away, and we've actually been pretty successful.
We've set quite a bit of things on fire, so that's been fun.
A successful practice to ensure that if it happens in the future, they will be prepared. Christy Larson, Campus News.
The students' next training exercise will teach river rescuing techniques. With spring break over at the universities in the area, some students relive their vacation through their memories and photos online, but many are thinking twice about what they post for others to see. Some students say they are more careful about their out-of-school behavior now that camera phones are popular and photos can be posted online. With more employers checking Facebook before they hire, some are thinking more about their reputation.
You have to think ahead before you do these kind of things. Just because this picture of you puking on yourself is really funny to you, doesn't mean that other people are going to find it funny.
Despite the risks, others say they aren't worried about the future. They trust their friends and say that they can make their photos private.
Nomophobia, the fear of being without your cell phone. Chelsea Smith gives us an inside look into what students at MSU Moorhead are saying about this fear.
A recent survey shows 77% of people between the ages of 18 and 24 have a fear of being without their cell phones.
But for some MSUM students, the fear doesn't seem to affect them.
I forgot it before. I just try not to dwell on it, keep going with the day, and remember it tomorrow.
For others, however, it does.
I usually go back and get it if I forget it. My life's on it. I email people, I text, Facebook, Twitter, everything.
Some students say they find the use of cell phones distracting.
Every single girl I've dated is constantly on their phone when I'm trying to be with them.
It's distracting for class. It's obvious when like you're not paying attention. It's just rude. Because they're putting their time to teach you stuff and you're just ignoring them.
For one student, being without her cell phone is being without the tool that keeps her connected to the social world.
I wouldn't even know how I'd get a hold of my friends to meet them for lunch if I didn't have my cell phone. When you are constantly needing to get a hold of people for either your job or school, it's important that you have it with.
With the increase of cell phone users, students say the percentage of nomophobics will also continue to rise. Chelsea Smith, Campus News.
The term nomophobia comes from the phrase no mobile phone phobia.
9 members of an Ohio fraternity have been indicted for felonious assault by a grand jury after a hazing incident. The charges come after 2 pledges for Kappa Alpha Psi fraternity at Youngstown State were rushed to a hospital. The 2 told authorities they were beaten with fists, paddles, and a wire clothes hanger during the off-campus hazing. One of the students needed to be placed on a ventilator. Defense attorneys argue the victims were aware the initiation rituals may get physical. Each felony count against the 9 men carries a maximum 8-year sentence. The fraternity has already been suspended from YSU for 15 years, followed by 10 years of probation.
Whether it's potato or potato, one NDSU professor likes them all. Reporter Kiera Murphy shows us how one potato lover is growing her own masterpieces.
I consider myself to be a potato snob or a potato connoisseur.
Potatoes. It's a passion for Dr. Asanta Thompson.
I'm one of the ones that I guess can't wait to go to work in the morning.
Asanta has been potato breeding with NDSU since 2008 and works as an associate professor.
Here, we don't have many good potatoes left. Time to go, new ones.
And these potatoes she's breeding are what you could call high quality.
We probably have the best red skin color amongst the breeding programs in the U.S.
This is crucial because the potato continues to be the most important vegetable and horticultural crop grown in North Dakota. Asanta says this is like a dream come true.
These purple ones, and you've peeled them. I came to NDSU way back in the day when we had an agronomy department, and my goal was to go back to the farm.
But her farmer plans changed when her father saw they couldn't afford land. Yet, Asanta's passion still ignited while working as a research technician at NDSU.
I just loved it. I soaked in everything just like I was a sponge because I wanted to know more and I wanted to be able to help producers be successful.
Whether you consider it a vegetable or a starch, Asanta's profession and passion.
I still have a lot of aspirations, things that I want to develop.
Still grows, like the potatoes in her greenhouse. Kiera Murphy, Campus News.
Dr. Thompson leads one of the top potato breeding programs in the country.
Students at Minnesota State Community and Technical College get a chance to get plenty of hands-on training, but one course allows for a bit of tasting as well. Introduction to Wine teaches students how to develop their senses to evaluate the color, aroma, and taste of wine. They also get a chance to bottle their own wine. The course is often taken by culinary arts students to help in earning their wine certificate, but it's a popular course for students of all majors.
It's really personal growth, broadening your scope a little bit, and reading a lot of labels.
The course also teaches students how to identify and locate the wine-producing regions of the world. Universities around the country are preparing stricter rules on what for some is a notorious holiday. April 20th or 420 is known as the holiday for marijuana smokers. On that day, students plan events dedicated to marijuana and oftentimes hold protests to legalize weed. The University of Colorado in Boulder is fining students up to $100 if they are seen smoking or have marijuana in their possession. The campus is not banning all events related to 420. It's still allowing a concert with songs about weed on university grounds. Being a college student can seem like a full-time job, but for many students, that's just a fraction of their busy schedules.
Reporter Aristides Serrano shows us how one MSU Moorhead student is taking advantage of a program to help her stay on course with her coursework.
Felicita Salazar is an MSUM student who often struggles to maintain the balance between work and school.
I don't have a lot of time for studying. I have breaks in between that are my longest break is 2 hours and that's it.
Her day often starts bright and early with several bus rides in order to get to work. After 2, sometimes 3 buses later, she finally reaches work, often coming in late because of the bus scheduling or even problems with the weather.
I was like, I always work.
Felicita works 7 days a week in order to stay in school as a full-time student.
Anything else for you today? Okay, it's gonna be $4.93.
Students often find themselves falling behind in school, and this is especially true for historically underrepresented students like Felicita. Recently, the Office of Diversity and Inclusion has developed an academic development program.
I meet with them and I ask them, and then they suggest how I can improve on my next exam or next quiz.
My GPA went up a lot. Yeah, it helped a lot. Like, you understand where you are, and it helps your grades.
A crucial part of the program entails meeting with your professor.
It takes a lot of prodding, it takes a lot of reminding, but boy, once they get in there, they usually come back really excited and saying, gee, that wasn't so bad after all.
The academic development program has been helping many students, including Felicita. Aristides Sorano, Campus News.
The goal of the Diversity and Inclusion Office is to make each student comfortable with their identity to become the best they can be. College graduation can be a scary time for seniors, but a recent study's findings should take some stress off the shoulders of graduates. The report says there's an increasing demand for degree holders. The study was done by the Lumina Foundation, a group that aims to increase the number of working-age Americans with degrees. According to the report, employers in 2025 will need about 23 million more degree holders than the nation's colleges will have produced. The goal of the foundation is to get the percentage of working-age Americans with degrees to 60% by 2025. If the current pace continues, that number will only be at about 50%.
If you could travel to one place, where would you choose? A group of MSU Moorhead students want to go someplace that is unreachable by current means of transportation. Reporter Noor Alamran tells us more.
I think I'd be more interested in going into the future than into the past.
Probably go to the past.
In the future, definitely.
I'd probably travel in the past.
Those are the time periods students and Professor Matt Gregg would want to visit, if they actually had a time-traveling machine. Craig and the students took on the topic of time traveling at MSUM's first ever Science Cafe and watched videos to fuel the discussion. Some believe that time traveling is impossible, but according to Professor Craig, we time travel in one direction.
Only in the future and only at the rate that you're used to going. So you can go into the future, you've been doing it your whole life.
But does that mean we cannot travel to the past?
Sure, you can look backwards in time. Every time you look up at the nighttime sky and you see stars that are far away, you're seeing them as they were a long time ago, but you can't see back in time where you are right now.
Movies and TV shows about time traveling have helped fuel the public's fascinations with the topic.
Hot tub time machine.
Physics major think it in a different way, but still it's interesting for anybody, I guess.
And these students enjoyed their time outside the classroom.
It was fun, like it was a casual way of talking with the professor and friends. When we're talking with Dr. Gregg in class, it's usually with mathematics and it's really complicated. But here, like casually, and it was fun.
With time traveling a successful topic, the group hopes to keep the Science Cafe going well into the future. With photographer Shoko Akiyama, Noor Amran, Campus News.
Time traveling is a popular topic in Hollywood, being the subject of more than 250 movies. Area musicians got a chance to showcase their talents to local college students.
Let's just go with it. It's rock and roll. It doesn't need to be perfect.
They took the stage at MSU Moorhead and spent the night performing to an enthusiastic audience. With bright lights and a disco ball shining, the singers sang songs from their favorite artists and ballads they wrote themselves about life experiences. The event was put on by a campus music group called the Music Entertainment Industry Student Association. MISA is made up of students interested in the music and entertainment industry. The music group holds multiple shows during the school year.
The High Plains are a land of wheat, cattle ranching, and natural oil deposits, but they are also home to a traditional and often sacred celebration, the powwow. Zach Denzer shows us the culture behind the gathering.
Hundreds of bells, thousands of feathers, and even more moments of laughter. These aren't the sights or sounds you would expect to come from the Bison Sports Arena at NDSU on a typical afternoon. They are the sights and sounds of a family a community that Native American MSUM student Chelsea Ducheneau says fascinated not only herself.
I brought a couple of friends who'd never been to a powwow before, so it was fun to tell them about the different dances. One of my friends got to try fry bread. He liked that a lot. He said it was definitely something that he wanted to try again.
Prairie Rose Seminole, coordinator of the powwow, says she believes the celebrations provide a deeper purpose.
We always get so caught up in this American ideal of going on with our lives and preparing and taking care of our own that we forget to acknowledge our own diversity and embrace that and really celebrate each other.
But don't expect the recent gathering to be the same as other traditional tribal celebrations.
But most of it's commercialized. Most of the stuff isn't as sacred and traditional as it used to be.
For spectators, the powwow was a chance to experience firsthand the elements of a Native American festival. But for the dancers and other participants, it was much more. A chance to celebrate the traditions of a culture thousands of years in the making. With photographer Megan Habig, Zach Denzer, Campus News.
Seminole says she hopes the gathering will double in size in the future. 2 college students are sparking up smooches nationwide after an appearance on ABC's Shark Tank. The show gives entrepreneurs a chance to make a deal that could make them millionaires. Utah Valley University students Dallas Robinson and Mike Buonamo are the masterminds behind Kiss Sticks. The lip balm is sold in packs of 2, so when couples kiss, the different flavors create a sensational smooching experience. Some of the matching flavors are peaches and cream, strawberry daiquiri paired with pina colada, and fire and ice, which actually heats up and cools down. Mark Cuban from Shark Tank and owner of the Dallas Mavericks has invested $200,000 in Kiss Sticks. College students and community members from the Fargo-Moorhead area took a unique path in bringing awareness to sexual and domestic abuse toward women.
225 participants arrived on the MSU Moorhead's campus to take part in the International Men's March to Stop Rape, Sexual Assault, and Gender Violence. Reporter Yvonne Soleil gives us a first-hand look.
My feet are already starting to hurt.
It's not every day you see groups of young men walking and running in high heels.
There's men all over the world and all over this nation that are putting in high heels and actually walking a mile to signify that to put yourself in their shoes. Watching the guys walk in high heels, you kind of look at them, see, oh, are they gonna fall? You know, just watching them have fun with it. Is there a course record? I don't know. If there is, I'll set it.
As a Dragon track and field captain, Lund was able to get more college athletes to trade in their tennis shoes for a pair of pumps.
Yeah, we had a little group running races. We're winning by a lot, like almost 2 laps.
Even with 370 pairs of women's shoes available, most men found none were a perfect fit.
The shoes weren't big enough, so my heels were hanging off the end and they were squishing my toes together. My heels hurt.
With photographer Matthew Holding Eagle, Yvonne Soleil, Campus News.
The event raised almost $650 for the Rape and Abuse Crisis Center of Fargo-Moorhead. Lund says he hopes the event continues to be a part of the community, no matter which college hosts it in future years. And now we turn it over to CJ Pierre for a look at this week's sports.
I hear that Concordia added a World Series champ to its coaching staff.
Yeah, and it's a name that folks in the area are quite familiar with. A Fargo native has returned home after spending 16 seasons in professional baseball. Chris Coast is taking his major league experience to the collegiate level as an assistant coach at his alma mater, Concordia College. Sports reporter Colin Boyles explores this Cobber's deep passion.
I got Justin. On the diamond of Concordia's baseball field is where you'll find former major leaguer Chris Coast today. But it wasn't that long ago. Coast was where every baseball playing kid wants to be.
Storming the field in the dog pile, winning the World Series is easily the baseball moment of my career.
It was the once-in-a-lifetime experience that helped Coast prepare for the next chapter in his baseball career.
That's kind of what this is a trial period to see, number one, if I'm good at it, number two, if this is something I want to do for the rest of my life.
He caught for the Phillies, so it's given me a lot of tips and it helps out everything he does. He's a great guy.
If it were up to Concordia head coach Bucky Burgell, Coast would be the only option to replace him.
If Chris coaches, I want to be the head coach tomorrow, Bucky, he's got it. I'll give it to him. But he'd be the only guy I'd do that for.
The two coaches' relationship began in 1989 when they were on opposing sides of a Legion game. Burgal would soon recruit Coast to Concordia during his 17th of 34 seasons with the team.
If I take this job from him one day, that's how I would do it. I would do it with that in mind, to be here for 30-some years.
Coast spent 11 seasons in the minors before being called up to the majors for 5 years. His playing career may be over, but Coast hopes to spend many more years teaching the game he loves at the place he learned it. With photographer Kenny Buck, Colin Boyles, Campus News Sports.
Now, Coast has written 2 books about his professional career, Hey, I'm Just a Catcher in 1998, and The 33-Year-Old Rookie in 2008. The MSU baseball team is off to its best start since 2002. The Bison are coming off a 16-game winning streak, which was the longest in the nation. Included in that stretch was a 4-game sweep over in-state rival University of North Dakota. The Bison are beginning summer league play this weekend with a 4-game series at Western Illinois. The Bison will be back home next weekend for a 4-game set against rival South Dakota State. This year's women's softball team at NDSU is having a successful season due to not 1, but 2 fast arms on the mound. Sports reporter Macy Eglin tells us how junior Whitney Johnson and freshman Krista Mankey worked together to help their team be one of the best in the region.
For pitchers Johnson and Mankey, this is not an unfamiliar event. When Mankey came in this season as a freshman, they say they immediately hit it off.
Share each other's skills and just show each other like how to do a certain way or how she got something that I might not have, and we've worked really well together and I love her, so.
Though Johnson has been the team's main pitcher since she was a freshman, she says that she didn't feel threatened when Mankey joined the group.
We're really good working together because we help each other. Like, we can kind of see things that other ones can't. Like, I can help her with her pitching, she can help me with mine, and just kind of mentor her through it and everything.
They compete very well together. They get along. They make each other better. They help each other. So yeah, they're always competing, but they know that each of them are going to get the ball, and then they just got to work, and it's their time. It's their inning, their moment. They need to do their job, and they're always cheering and rooting for the other one to do well to help the success of this team.
After Johnson suffered a minor injury to her forearm earlier this season, Mankey felt she had to prove herself as a head pitcher.
I felt like I needed to step up for the team just because since I was a freshman, like, they hadn't really seen me play and hadn't, like, you don't have a whole lot of confidence in somebody until you earn it. So that was just my time to show the team that they can trust in me, and we are going to have 2 pitchers this season.
With a pitching duo like this, the Bison feel they'll continue to have a successful season and many more strikeouts. With photographers Garrett Madison and Dan Ziebel, I'm Macy Eglin, Campus News Sports.
The Bison are on the road today, and they take the field at noon against the University of South Dakota. The Dragon community is lacing up their running shoes to support MSU Moorhead athletics. The 7th annual Dragon Firewalk for Athletics invites the public to walk, jog, or race April 27th and 28th. A youth run, a spaghetti feed, and a silent auction start on Friday night. Participants can choose between the 5K, 10K, 10-mile, or a 10-mile 2-person relay, which begins Saturday morning. The University of Minnesota Gopher football team is mourning the loss of one of its own. Senior linebacker Gary Tinsley was found dead on his on-campus apartment. Emergency responders weren't able to revive the 22-year-old from Jacksonville, Florida. Officials are still waiting to confirm the exact cause of death, but say no foul play is suspected and there was no evidence of drugs or alcohol use. Tinsley was just weeks away from receiving his bachelor's degree in business and marketing education. He was a letterman all 4 years and started every game during his last 2 seasons. During the 2011 season, Tinsley was second on the team in tackles with 87 and had 198 tackles over his 4 years with the Gophers. Now, Gopher Athletics established a memorial fund in Tinsley's honor to help with the expenses of the funeral, along with helping the team attend his funeral in Florida.
That's a very nice gesture by the athletic department.
Our thoughts and condolences go out to all those affected. The Black Student Union at Concordia College brought students a different kind of rhythm through the Hip Hop Summit. And a passion for hip hop brought one MSU Moorhead alumni and local performer to the summit to teach students what he loves to do. Krista Bame has more.
Super clean style. You got the paint control down already.
From graffiti,
I'm really confused at what that is, and I made it.
To freestyle rapping, local performer Kip Gabriel shows students what he's discovered and has been doing since the 6th grade.
I had an Earth, Wind, and Fire record that skipped and it played a beat over and over. And I was like, yo, we in my room, boom, 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 or something. I made some rhyme up and I thought I invented improv rap.
Gabriel helped teach students and even teachers the basics to freestyle rap, like rhyming and how to just let yourself go.
Show me what the business.
I know what the business is. The problem is I have never done this.
You just got to shut off and like not worry about anything and just go inside yourself.
Gabriel is hoping he has taught people to open up their minds and experience something he has grown to love and share throughout the Fargo-Moorhead area. With photographers Matthew Holding-Eagle and Steve Kim, Krista Boehm, Campus News.
This was the 6th year Concordia has hosted the Hip Hop Summit. The studio recently had a few guests stop by to learn how to anchor a newscast. A group of 14 Girl Scouts from Glendon, Minnesota got the opportunity to see what it was like to be in the limelight. The girls learned everything from how to read off the teleprompter to what to listen for to be quiet on the set. Out of everything they learned, it was clear that they all liked one thing.
Seeing people come up here and read the scripts and stuff. Probably reading off the script. That we got to be recorded on tape.
The girls also liked showing us their best anchor poses.
There you go. Your woman pose too.
When we were finished, we gave the girls a DVD of their anchoring debuts. Seemed like those little girls picked up anchoring pretty fast, didn't they?
Yeah, it was great meeting all of them. They seemed like they had a great time.
Well, CJ, do you have your anchor pose ready for us?
How's that for you?
It's perfect.
That's okay. And that's it for this edition of Campus News.
We leave you with footage from Percussion Night at MSU Moorhead.
Thanks for joining us. Have a great week.
Campus News is produced by the Television News Workshop in the Department of Mass Communications at Minnesota State University Moorhead in cooperation with Prairie Public Television.